You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years.
Welcome back to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. This is Trevor Wade. I'm hosting today, and I'm joined by Alan Gingrich. How you doing today, Alan?
Same as always. Very good.
Very good. You're always in a good mood
What
down
am I
here.
supposed to say, Trevor?
I just want you to be honest with everybody.
Okay.
If you're having a bad day, this is a good place to air it out.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
No, it's fun
actually,
time.
I'm having a good day.
Yeah.
Having a good day.
I always say that we're going to talk Youth Nationals today, as you guys have probably guessed by seeing the title of it and the intro and everything. But it always refreshes me going there, and you can kind of get slugged down during the April travel season and kind of just be tired of coon hunting really for a little bit. And then when you get here and all the kids are excited and they're having fun playing football all day and hunting all night, and they come strutting in to get their win pictures, it kind of just rejuvenates you a little bit.
In a lot of ways, that's very true. I used to think the same things. Sometimes we hear, "Oh, the sport is dying," and this and that. And then you come back from Youth Nationals, and you just get a different feel about things. And you're right. It just seems so far from that.
Yeah. I think this year there was no issues at all. And it just makes for a real fun weekend. And there's hardly ever any issues at these big youth events.
And I've heard so many good things too. Yeah. From the just everything.
Yeah.
The show that you had, the seminar Saturday, what Kayla Cooper did.
Yeah.
I just heard a lot of good reports about it.
Yeah. And we're going to dig into a lot of that today. Yeah. So I guess we might as well, and we got a few interviews today that are going to be fun, that I talked to the 4 big winners of the weekend. So it's going to be kind of a fun.
The one girl you mentioned today was a superstar in the interview, I hear. So I can't wait to hear that.
That's right. You're going to have to wait a little bit. You just haven't heard it right now. So
yeah,
you're going to be with everybody else when you get to hear it. So
yeah.
But hey, let's start out with the night hunt. That was where the whole event got started on Friday night, with just the night hunt. And just real quick, I want to thank Jamie Estep coming all the way from Elkins, West Virginia, to be our master of hounds. Obviously, he's one of our field reps. He also does some squirrel dog stuff for you, and he's on the road a lot for us. But this is one that he asked to come to Youth Nationals, and he just cares a lot about the youth of the sport. And we've talked about it before with his son Drew just aging out. He's still very much invested in the youth. Being the president of the West Virginia State Association, he's made it a goal of his to make West Virginia's youth program great, and he's done that so far. And we'll talk about the numbers in that a little bit. But man, we appreciate Jamie coming all the way to Kentucky to master pounds for us both nights.
Good guy to have on our team for sure. Lucky to have guys like Jamie.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. It was a lot of times on this this third weekend in July, it can be very hot. It can be up middle 90s to upper 90s, and sometimes in the hundreds. I know you've been to a couple where it was just flat dangerous for kids and dogs, but this weekend was real mild. It rained heading into the week, so it was damp outside. There was a lot of moisture, a little bit of humidity, but during the day it was high 70s, low 80s, and at night it got down into the 60s, and it was a little chilly every now and then, but it was perfect for a coon hunt.
Can't beat that for the end of July.
No,
summertime, middle of summer. And
it's
going to be hot.
We're not always going to get that lucky, but it was a nice little reprieve from what is usually happens at Youth Nationals.
That's good.
And on Friday, we ended up having 53 kids come and enter. The breakdown real quick, 39 boys and 14 girls represented there in the 53 entries, and 12 different states. I thought that was interesting. I always like looking at that. Of course, the bulk of them came from Kentucky, 21. That was the leading state, 21 right there. But that still leaves a lot of entries left from other parts of the country. And a couple just to notate, West Virginia had 9 hunt entries on Friday night. I thought that was a really strong number. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's right beside it or close by, Most people drove 5, 6, 7 hours to get there. Indiana and Pennsylvania had 4 each. Ohio and North Carolina 3 each. And then you're talking about further away states now. Arkansas, Georgia, South Carolina with 2 each. Missouri, Virginia, and New Jersey with 1 apiece. That was the first I had seen one from New Jersey, so that was interesting.
Yeah, I saw a post. The lady had posted from New Jersey that brought one of her kids down, or a girl. I'm not sure if it was one of her kids or not, but it looked like they were having a blast on their trip and the whole thing. They made a big deal out of the whole trip.
Yeah, that's perfect. The breakdown was 23 juniors and 30 seniors on that night, and with the ages 6 through 17 were all represented. No 5-year-olds, but 6 through 17, all of those were covered. We ended up with 14 casts, and of the 14 casts that went to the woods, 12 had plus point cast winners and only 2 dead casts.
Can't beat that. That can happen in northern Indiana.
Right.
You have that many casts, you might have a couple dead ones every now and then, but you can't beat that. That's good.
Yeah, it's not like it's November. There's a lot of leaves and it's real thick out, and it's hard to see a coon sometimes. And only having 2 dead casts is not bad. 40 coons seen over Friday night. 23 of them scored, and that was a total of 1.64 coons scored per cast. Northern Indiana in the summer, or Northern Kentucky in the middle of the summer with thick foliage on.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Really good, actually.
We talked about our top 10. Let's talk about what they got before we get into some of the names and dogs that did good there. Each of our top 10 placements on Friday and Saturday night ended up getting a trophy by us to commemorate their win. A Bright Eyes light donated by Bright Eyes. We can talk about Ray Conrad and his contributions to the youth all day long. He always sponsored this event. He donated 24 lights to this event, 10 for Friday, 10 for Saturday, and 4 for our Spotlight Series winners. We sure appreciate Ray. And like I said in my little spiel before drawing cast and before the bench show, remember that, when it comes time to buy something, remember those that are supporting you. Support those that support you is something a lot of people say, and I couldn't agree with that more.
Can't express that enough. And those lights, I'm not sure what Ray gets for those. I'm going to say they run somewhere in the $300 range, $3.25, $3.50. But 2 nights, times 10 or times 20 for that. That's quite a bit that he puts out there. And really for all of the kids to win that much, placing, all the way through 10th, to get that package, a $300 light, $50 from the state association, the Kentucky Houndsman, there's $400. That's pretty good.
Pretty good value.
Pretty good
value.
Yeah.
And like you said, the Kentucky Houndsman Association, Doug Johnson was there both days, and he kept bringing me just stacks of Cabela's $50 gift cards to hand out to kids. Give it to these kids. Give it to these kids. So, man, we sure appreciate the Kentucky Houndsman Association for stepping up and doing that.
Yeah, and I know you wanted to sit down with Doug and kind of find the time to get him on the podcast. Maybe that didn't really work out for you or whatever, but maybe someday we'll get the opportunity to do that. But hey, a huge thanks to the Kentucky Houndsman Association for their support of our youth nationals for sure.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we thought this is a pretty good platform. We have full results posted on our forums and on our website, but hey, this is another avenue to highlight the winners and recognize the winners of the weekend. So let's kind of do that real quick. Friday night, and I don't know, do you kind of want to alternate dogs here? And we
Doesn't
can kind
matter.
of run through
However you want to do it. You got a list here.
Yeah, I'll start out with first place here. First place Friday night was Riley Cundiff, handling night champion Crash's Kentucky Blue Rambo, a blue tick owned by Tyler Nally and Daniel Donahue of Kentucky. He had 400 plus.
Blue tick wins it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And second place, Jacob Miller handling Neosho River Sioux. That's a treeing walker that's owned by Larry Weishon, and Gary Gammon of North Carolina scored 375 plus.
Third place was Clayton Sims handling Southern Style Crazy, a treeing walker owned by Daniel Donahue and Josh Sims of Kentucky, 350 plus.
275 plus for Logan Dillon, placing fourth, handling Night Champion Late Night Tricks. That's a treeing walker that's owned by Matthew Russ of Kentucky.
I don't want to give away any spoilers, but here's a name that we're going to be saying a lot here. Fifth place, Miss Brooke Sneed, handling Grand Night Champion 2, No Name Ep. Tree and Walker owned by her dad, Daniel Sneed, and they're from North Carolina. She had 2.25 on Friday night.
Sixth place also had 2.25. That was Chase Chesser handling Metcalf's Little Jimmy. That's a blue tick owned by Richard Wayne Smith of Kentucky.
Seventh place is Miss Dixie Mans. She was handling Grand Night Champion 3, Ice Cold Dirty Cricket, owned by her father, Chad Mans of West Virginia, 200 plus.
Probably going to hear Dixie's name again a couple times here in this podcast. Good for her. Eighth place scored 175 plus. That was Mason Ammons handling Grand Night Champion 2 champion PR Midnight 2-time Bella HTX. Dog is owned by Blake Ammons and Andy Mathis of Kentucky.
Ninth place, we had Josh Ashley handling Full Throttle Tootsie Roll, and that's a tree and walker owned by his dad, James Ashley of Kentucky, at 175 plus.
And then last but not least, in 10th place, Alice Russell handled Night Champion PR Hope We Go, a treeing walker owned by Tristan Jackson of Kentucky, 100 plus to place 10th.
Yeah, we had 2 other cast winners, so real quick, I'll just say Brady Clark handling Wild Thing Blaze had 75 plus, and then Easton Kissamore handling Nathan's Green Mountain Willie had 75 plus both. So congratulations to all the cast winners. It's not easy to win your cast of these things, so congratulations to all those guys.
Sure.
Shifting into Saturday night, we knew who our single cast winners were at that point, but there was still a lot to be determined. And on Saturday night, well, hey, let's talk real quick before I do that. Let's talk about some of the things to be determined here. We're looking for double cast winners in the junior division. The highest scoring double cast winner was going to be our junior division national champion. We're looking to fill out an entire final cast for our senior division, but 4 dogs. First double cast winners get in, and then single cast high scores if we don't have enough double cast winners. But also, I want to point out a couple associations that brought high scoring dog of breed trophies. There was Philip King with the English Association, brought a high scoring English trophy. And then Josh Renfro. I don't know if you've worked with him much, but he's kind of stepped in, and he's the new Philip Heron of the Black and Tan Association. And you know how involved the Black and Tan Association is in the youth. He showed up with a whole truckload of trophies, but it turned out he had been working also with other associations. So he brought trophies for the the high scoring Black and Tan male and female. He brought trophies for the high scoring blue tick male and female that the BBCHA had donated, and also a high scoring male and female from the National Redbone Association. Did that. So for the breeds, we're giving out trophies to high scoring dogs that weekend. So.
Yeah, you're right. The Black and Tan Association has supported this program from day one. Philip Heron did a whole lot for it, but it's good to see some of the other associations also following suit. I know the Treeing Walker Association has been behind them the last several years as well. So
absolutely
good to see this.
Yeah. Saturday, sometimes you think Saturday is the entries may drop off a little bit, but we still had 53 entries on Saturday night. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think we had 5 or 6 that didn't show up on Saturday that hunted on Friday. So 5 and 6, showed up that weren't there the night before, but ended up being the same. Breakdown pretty close to the night before, 40 guys and 13 gals, and actually 13 states represented on Saturday with, again, kind of the same breakdown as last time. Kentucky, leading the way, West Virginia right there on its heels, Indiana, Pennsylvania, North Carolina kind of coming in after that. So 21 juniors and 32 seniors went to the woods on Saturday night.
And you split them up by senior and juniors. Juniors draw out together with other junior kids, and seniors the same way.
That's right. And when we added all the casts together, we ended up getting 14 casts. And on Saturday night, hunting wasn't as good, didn't look like by the scores, but we still had 11 plus point cast winners and only 3 dead casts.
Yeah, still not bad.
And I'm thinking at least one of the dead casts scored on some coons, but maybe ran into some minus or what have you. But there were coons seen on, I think, 12 of the 14 casts again on Saturday night. That led to that's overall 31 coons seen on Saturday night with 22 coons being scored, and that's just right at 1.57 coons scored per cast. And now we can get into our top 10 for Saturday night. First place Saturday night was Hayden Bartram. He was handling a dog named Money Pit that's owned by Ed Casper of Ohio. He had 400 plus.
Yeah, Ed's always had good dogs, so I'm not surprised. Second place, Sydney Davis handled night champion Davis's Dialed In Liz. That's a Treeing Walker owned by Brian Davis of Missouri, scored 350 plus.
Third place was Caleb Black. He was handling Grand Night Champion 2 Bad Boy Buck HTX. A Treeing Walker owned by Josh Artman and Steve Whittington of Ohio, and he had 2 1/4.
Fourth place was Dixie Mans again from West Virginia, handling Grand Night Champion 3 PR Ice Cold Dirty Cricket. Treeing Walker owned by her father, Chad Mans, 2 1/4 plus.
So that's a double cast winner for you. Here's Alice Russell, also a double cast winner. She was handling Night Champion Hope We Go, a Treeing Walker owned by Tristan Jackson, 225 on Saturday night.
Sixth place was Jacob Black, again handling Grand Night Champion DeVenture's Black Angel, a Treeing Walker owned by Lucas Black of Pennsylvania, scored 212.5.
Aubrey Chesser came in 7th with Grand Night Champion Neosho River Sid HTX, owned by Joshua Chesser, and she had 200 plus.
With 175, Josh Ashley placed 8th, handling Country's Big Nasty, and that's a blue tick owned by Brian Adams of Kentucky.
Yeah, I got Brooke again here. Brooke Sneed, Grand Night Champion 2, No Name Ep. That duo put up 175 plus, and that was good enough for 9th place on Saturday night.
With a score of 175 for 10th place, Logan Dillon handling Night Champion Late Night Tricks, again Treeing Walker owned by Matthew Russ of Kentucky.
And then just real quick, we had one that missed on the placements, but Colton Rorvik, a familiar name for most people who keep up with our youth circuit, got a cast win with Wipeout Bull, owned by Jeremy Qualls and Hayden Qualls. He had 100 1/4. And the biggest thing, I think, Bryce Matthews, he was tickled that Colton finished him out to night champion and qualified him for the TOC this year with this win. So
perfect. I saw they had been posting some pictures, too, leading up to the Youth Nationals where Bryce had been out hunting with the boys, and they did their little Youth Nationals dance around the
Youth Nationals shuffle, I think they called it. So, yeah, there we go, a little shuffling action. I didn't see any there, but maybe That was what was missing.
Hey, congratulations to each one of those kids that plays Friday and Saturday night. Good job, everyone.
Yeah. So, hey, let's get into our first big winner of the weekend that we're going to talk about. So as the cast rolled in, we got all our senior division folks in. We were able to figure out who the final four was and get them back out in the woods. That way they could get their hunt in and not stay out all night. I still had to wait on a couple junior division casts, and when those got in, we were able to do our top 10 awards and then crown our junior division youth national champion. We had two double cast winners. Alice Russell ended up with 325 combined over the 2 nights, but just barely edging her out with 350 combined over the 2 nights was Josh Ashley of Upton, Kentucky. On Friday night, he won his cast and he got 9th place with a dog named Full Throttle Tootsie Roll. Funny thing about this is on Saturday morning, he comes in to get her picture taken for the win, and she came in heat that morning. So he had to quickly shift gears. He found a backup dog, a young blue tick dog named Country's Big Nasty is what we call him in our system, but they called him Country's Bumpkin. I don't know if maybe they haven't transferred the paperwork over or what at this point, but ended up winning his cast with him as well. I guess it was just his weekend. He got 8th place on Saturday night with Bumpkin with 175 plus, and his 350 was enough to win him the national championship.
Yeah. I guess that's a young boy. I've never had the opportunity to meet or anything, but it looked like he worked pretty hard. Sounds like he worked pretty hard and prepared for this hunt, so and it worked out good for him.
Yeah, I think Upton, Kentucky's not very far from there. So he's a local kid. He has an older brother. I think Josh is 12 and his brother is 14, and they hunt a lot with their dad. And they say they put in their preparation and they're hunting in cast and grown up casts with people, and they're familiar with the rules and they hunt their dogs hard. And preparation goes a long way on these wins. For his win, Josh has a $1,000 tuition award waiting for him once he's completed high school, which may seem like a long way away, but it'll fly. I promise you that. Yeah. He also got a national championship trophy, and he's going to get an embroidered jacket. We put those on order yesterday, so he'll be getting those here in the next month, you would think. And I got a chance to talk with him a little bit. It's late, and I took him out to a quiet place outside, and we were able to conduct a little interview and get to know Josh a little bit and what happened. And we're going to play a clip of his interview right now. Hey, y'all, this is Trevor coming back from Saturday night here at Youth Nationals, and we just got done getting all our cast in from our Saturday night hunt, and I'm sitting here with our Junior Division Youth National Champion, Mr. Josh Ashley. How you doing today, Josh?
Doing good.
Good. So you just got crowned national champion. Feeling pretty good right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you from around here near Elizabethtown?
I'm about 30 minutes away.
I got you. What town do you live in?
Upton, Kentucky.
I got you. So you kind of had an interesting weekend, I guess. Let's start out with Friday night. What you were hunting a little Walker female, weren't you?
Yeah, her name's Tootsie.
Tootsie Roll, that's right. And tell us a little bit about your Friday night cast. What, you scored a 175, is that right?
Yeah, 175. Then tonight I scored 175.
Yeah, so 175 each night. But you kind of you ran into a little bit of trouble there this morning when you got up. I guess you're bringing Tootsie out here to get her picture taken and realize that she came in heat on you, huh?
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I guess you probably did a lot of prep work and hunted with her a lot over the past few weeks getting ready for this hunt. And you go out there and see her in heat. I can understand. I've hunted females as well. That's a pretty bad feeling.
Yep.
But you came in here, got your picture taken, and you regrouped pretty quick. Had to go to option B. I guess you looked like you were hunting a blue tick dog tonight.
Yep.
You want to tell us a little bit about him?
He's at a big country. He's a blue tick. We call him the Country Bumpkin.
I gotcha. Country Bumpkin. Okay. So you talk about who is that? You talking about you and your dad or your family? I see you got a brother that looks just about like you. How old is he?
He's 14 years old.
I gotcha. And I was talking to some folks here around the club. You and your brother and your dad, I guess, are some of the harder hunters around. You guys enjoy going out and hunting, huh?
Yep. Love it.
So tonight's cast, you have a pretty good shot at it with already having a cast win. Were you a little nervous going into tonight's hunt, especially hunting with a different dog than you hunted last night?
Yep. Past couple days he's been looking like junk, but tonight he looked pretty good.
It all worked out how it was supposed to, I guess. But yeah, so 175 each night, had 350 plus, and that was enough to become the youth national champion here for UKC. So that's a big win. A lot of people vying for that title, and it ended up being you. Well, hey, Josh, I appreciate it. I know it's late out here tonight. We kept you out all night here hunting, but I want to give you congratulations, and we appreciate you being here, and good luck with everything moving forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that interview there with Josh. Just a young kid, and he's got a big future ahead of him.
Yeah, congratulations. Good job, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I talked about, we had already sent out the senior division final cast. At this point, they're still in the woods when I conduct this interview. But let's talk about who made it there. The first was Logan Dillon. He's out of Kermit, West Virginia, and he was hunting a dog named Late Night Tricks. And he was able to make it to the final cast with double cast wins that totaled 450 plus. Dixie Mans of Hart, West Virginia. You heard us mention her a couple times. She was hunting Ice Cold Dirty Cricket. Double cast wins for a total of 425. That punched her ticket to the final cast.
You know, I'll just say this about the Mans is they are a hunting family. Their whole family hunts, whether it's coon hunting or bear hunting or something. If they're not doing that, they're riding dirt bikes or doing something. They're a very active family and do a whole lot with their dogs, and it's showing.
Absolutely. They do good no matter what event they're in, it seems like. The third one in the final cast, Brooke Sneed of Cherryville, North Carolina. She was hunting her dad's dog, No Name Ep, and she was able to get double cast wins that totaled 400 plus. And we only had 3 double cast winners in the senior division, so our fourth dog actually on a tiebreaker came down to some circled tree points. And Hayden Bartram of Liberty, Indiana, made it in with a dog named Money Pit with a single cast win, high score of 400 plus there on Saturday night.
Yeah, so 2 boys and 2 girls in the final cast.
That's right. 2 West Virginia dogs. I thought that was interesting. 2 West Virginia handlers. And you know, everybody in the final cast is getting something. Just making it there's a big deal. There's $9,000 in tuition awards. They're up for grabs. The 3 non-winners of this cast are going to get $2,000 each for their tuition afterwards, along with a nice gold cup trophy that they got this year. And our overall winner actually was going to get $3,000 in a tuition award, the national championship trophy, and an embroidered jacket that we're going to be working on getting it to her after the fact. I guess I gave away a little bit of a spoiler there, but the senior division youth national champion ended up being Brooke Sneed of Cherryville, North Carolina.
One of the ladies.
That's right. After the final cast, she ended up scoring. She treed 1 coon. There was a couple of coons scored, but she had first strike. She got 225 plus in that hour cast, and that was enough to bring home the national championship for her and Ep.
Yeah, and congratulations to her. I saw the picture that you guys or somebody took out in the field after she won it, you know, when she's there with her dog, the scorecard, the judges, and I guess maybe her dad or somebody was out there. And, man, that picture speaks 1,000 words. Just you can tell just a happy face right there that you're looking at.
Yeah, I know her. I got the chance to talk to her dad, Daniel, a little bit. And, you know, we get to know people over phone calls. This is the first time I've ever met him in person. And, I bet that picture there of them in the woods on that final cast means a lot to him, more than any other win he's ever had in his life. Yeah.
So 3 of these 4 had double cast wins, so that means they got each got 2 lights.
That's right.
So that was a good weekend for those kids.
Good bunch of money and gift cards and a lot of goodies, and they're loaded down heading back home. So but I got a chance to talk to Brooke. By this time it was early in the morning. I think it was probably around 5 a.m. and she
makes for a long night.
It does, but she was bright and cheerful, and she was fired up, and it was a fun interview. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Brooke. All right, guys, and we're here with our last national champion of the weekend. We're here almost 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. And we just crowned our senior division national champion, and it's Miss Brooke Sneed. How you doing, Brooke?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, so you just brought home the national championship. How you feeling?
Very proud. Excited.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's start with you. When did you get started in hunting?
I was about 10 years old. I got started hunting strong with my dad.
Okay. And your dad is
36.
Well, I mean, his name's Daniel, right?
Daniel Sneed.
I got you. And you guys are from over on the East Coast somewhere, right?
Yeah, North Carolina.
North Carolina, I got you. So you had a little bit of a drive to come here.
Yeah.
I got you. How long have you been competing with hounds now?
Probably just a year. Hasn't been long.
Just started doing it recently, huh?
Yeah.
Do you like it so far?
I love it.
Gotcha. So, tell us a little about the dog you're hunting this weekend.
I hunted my dad's dog, No Name Ep. He's 2 years old. He likes to go deep. He decided to swim some this weekend, so he had to cross a big river. But he's a big baby. Love him to death.
I got you. Have you guys had him since he was a pup? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got him when he was 6 weeks.
I got you. So you kind of got a bond with him more than just hunting, huh?
Yeah.
He's a part of the family. So you doubled up this weekend.
Yeah.
You started out with a cast win on Friday night. Do you remember any details from your cast on Friday?
Friday it was a 3-dog cast, and I got first strike, first tree, on both recuts. He'd swim both times.
I've heard stories of the cast swimming the river a couple times. Yeah. But what'd you end up scoring out?
225 on Friday night.
Okay, 225 on Friday night. So going into Saturday night, you have to win Friday night, and usually in order to make it to the final cast. So you had to feel good about that. Were you more nervous on Friday or more nervous on Saturday, knowing that you were a cast win away from getting in the final cast?
Definitely Saturday. It was a lot of pressure.
Yeah. How did your early round cast go tonight?
It went very well. I got third strike and then first tree, which pulled me out really good, and I had 175 plus.
I got you. So you ended up with double cast win. You're one of 3 dogs that got double cast wins in the senior division. And that put you in the final cast. And the final cast was tough. You had a tough cast of dogs. I think some hard hunters, and a lot of people would be familiar with some of the dogs on your cast. Tell us a little bit about how the final cast went.
It went really well. I got first strike, and then got treed in towards the end of the hunt for 125.
And that's all you needed, huh?
Yep.
That's right. The coon in an hour, that's what it takes. So, well, perfect. So what are you thinking? Are you kind of hooked on the competition stuff now, even though you just got into it the past 6 or 7 months? Are you pretty hooked on it?
I am.
A good deal.
Alan, we both had Dogtra Pathfinder 2s now for a little while. What do you think about yours?
I'm liking mine. One of the things, I had the opportunity to now download a map of an area where I did not have service, and I've used it there, and it has worked flawlessly. I love it.
Yeah, I love the crystal clear maps. I love that I never lose reception on my dog's collars anymore. Highly recommended by me as well. Dogtra Pathfinder 2, the official GPS collar partner of UKC. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that interview there with Brooks and Nate as well.
Yeah, congratulations again to her. Good job. I'm sure this is going to be a national championship she'll remember for a long time.
Absolutely, it will.
Something to tell her kids and her grandkids.
Absolutely.
Grandma won the national championship.
Still have the trophy and the jacket to prove it.
Yeah.
But
and a podcast where we talked about it.
That's right. Go back and listen to the podcast. Well, let's shift gears to the bench show now. We've kind of ran down our whole night hunt segment of what happened there. It was a fun night hunt, very few issues at all. And the bench show went really well as well. This year we made one change. We pushed stuff back a little bit. A lot of times, I don't know, the heat of the day in the middle of the day kind of gets bogged down. This probably wouldn't have been the same this year with some of the good weather that we had, but we ended up pushing the bench show out of the way in case people wanted to stay in or do something earlier in the day. I think it kind of worked out. The bench show seminar started at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m., and we had a great crowd there for the seminar already. We had the hunt kids come in to get their pictures from the night before at 1, so we kind of got them there, and that was hoping they would stay and listen to the seminar because we want to have a little bit of crossover there.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the seminar and Kayla Cooper a little bit. She came all the way up from Billingsley, Alabama to judge our show for us because I've been having some conversations with her. She's a big part of the Alabama State Association. They have a great youth event down there in Alabama every year, actually a couple of them. And it made a lot of sense to get her here. I know she's a good judge, but she's really knowledgeable about dogs in a lot of different aspects.
You're exactly right. That's what I was going to say. And I don't know any lady that does more with her dogs than does Kayla Cooper.
Yeah. I think it's her job. I think she does something for a living where she trains people's dogs and takes care of them and things like that.
She does a lot with them, and she's earned so much knowledge over the years. I don't know how old she is. She's younger than I am, I think, but she is a very, very knowledgeable lady for sure.
Yeah. I say this was the most, and like I said, I think the time shift had a little bit to do with it, but this was the most packed the building's been for a seminar yet, and it was a good one to be packed for. I've definitely sat through some good seminars.
Yep.
We've had some really good ones.
Yep.
We've had some really good ones.
Yep.
Hers was more, less of like a presentation, like a
little more interactive,
a little
maybe
more interactive.
Yeah.
And she said beforehand that was going to be a big part of it. And I I was a little nervous myself because she asked, you think the kids will be interactive, and then sometimes they're just not.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get into a room where kids don't want to participate. Maybe they're a little gun shy or nervous, but she asked her very first question. What she did is she had her red bone there. She was calling her Ridge, a female named Ridge, a red bone female, and she had Velcro spots on her.
I saw the pictures of that.
All over her different all different parts of her body, and she had a bunch of note cards there with Velcro on the back of them. And she was going to call out a body part, raise your hand. You get to come up. You got to put the note card in the right spot, and if you got it right, you got a Rice Krispie treat. So it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
She asked the very first body part, and I was like, are the kids going to be interactive or not? But hands shot up everywhere. And I was like, okay, we're going to be in for a good time here.
Yeah.
And it ended up being real fun to watch. By the end of it, the dog was just covered. I'm sure we'll have some pictures of that posted on our social media platforms. But
that's good.
It was an awesome deal.
That's good. And I saw pictures of that with the dog with all the little notes of the names of those body parts. But that's a good way to show all those different body parts like that.
Yeah, we had Nicole Sedlecki with us, who's the vice president here at UKC.
Mm-hmm.
She went with me and helped put on the event, and Kayla just would not. She wanted so badly to get a Rice Krispie treat. She kept raising her hand, but she could not get called on to get up there. But
how about you? Did you raise your hand?
No, I didn't know. I didn't want to get anything wrong. So if she
I heard
asked,
you got one thing wrong, or she told you got one thing wrong.
Well, I have a bone to pick with Kayla on that. During her little presentation, she asked which dog won the first UKC licensed night hunt, and
a plot.
Yeah, no one was raising their hand, so I raised my hand because I did know, and I said plot, but she said I got it wrong. But I would have to argue that fact with her.
You mentioned that. You said she thought it was a red bone that did, but I think probably the first red bone that won anything in UKC was I think it was the night champion. Our first night champion was a red bone.
Yeah.
So that's probably what she had. Unless you misunderstood the question. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I'm not the best listener sometimes, but I got embarrassed by that, but that's neither here nor there. But after that, she had some little mock show leads.
Well, I'm sorry you got called out.
I was just trying to be a good student and a good steward of the sport. But
did you get your Rice Krispie, though?
No. If you got it wrong, you didn't get a Rice Krispie.
Well, there you did deserve
it. But after that, she had a bunch of little show lead samples that she handed out and was teaching people the correct procedures on putting them on by using their wrist. And I thought that was a really good idea.
Yeah.
So she
and probably a lot of things that even adults can learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have known how to do it. I've never dealt with the actual show leads themselves, so that was interesting to me, seeing her, how she instructed to do it and the kids taking note of it. After that, we took the entire group of kids outside, and she worked with them on some things she works on when gating, which is a huge part of a dog show. A lot of people think it's putting your dog on a bench and get who can stand still the most, but a lot of it has to do with the form of the dog. Form follows function, and that's what she is a big proponent of, and she wanted to show the proper way to show off a dog and to make it excel at its peak and show off the best it can, and gating's a big part of that. And then she went and put the red bone out and got out a black lab that she had there with her, and talked about scenting a little bit, which is a little way different than any of the ones I've been to yet. Talking about how conditions or all the different variables that can affect scent for a dog, and then did some samples of that by throwing a shed out into a field and letting her dog work the scent around there and retrieving it back to her. And I think it was just fun and interactive for all the kids.
Good, and that was the whole idea of having this seminar to begin with, and trying to have more educational things for the kids while we have all the kids there. And it's sound like you said, we've had a lot of good educational speakers and had some good seminars so far, but it sounds like Kayla just did another bang up job with it this year.
Yep. Every year we get a good judge for the show, and they put on a great seminar, and this was
here's
no
the thing, the kids aren't going to remember everything that was said, but if somebody clings on to a couple things, that's all worth it.
Yeah. And this shouldn't be a controversial take, but all the prizes that a kid comes and get is great.
Yeah.
Get them as many good prizes as they can get, and door prizes for being there. But what we really need to be doing is giving them the knowledge that they can stay with, and helping them grow their love for the sport. Sure. And I think things like this does that. So we had a really, really good bench show entry this year. We had 46 kids. You know how it works. Every kid can only show one dog. So 46 individual kids entered, which was Really good number.
Yeah.
19 boys, 27 girls, and 13 different states represented this year. Kentucky did not win that. Indiana had 9 kids in it. Kentucky had 7. Ohio 6. 5 kids from West Virginia, and then there was a host of different kids, 4 or less from North Carolina, Virginia, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
Yeah, the way our show works, a kid can only handle 1 dog in the show, so that's why. Yeah, but that's a good number, 46 different kids that enter dogs in it. In the old days when we had just like a regular show, they could show as many as they did. We did have kids showing 2, 3, 4 dogs, so that's why we had 100 dog shows back then, and why the number are smaller now. But we're going to get into that here in a little bit. But it's another good way of the way we do the show.
Yeah,
it's not just about judging the dog here.
Yeah, if kids could show more than 1 dog, could have easily been a 100-dog show probably.
Yeah, and I'm sure Kayla talked about some of the things she's going to judge the handlers on in her seminar.
She did. She really wanted to focus on anatomy and some of the different gaiting techniques and things like that. Sportsmanship was a big deal, so she was looking for all those things as well as
got to be a good loser, that's for sure. Not everybody can win.
That's right. And it ended up for a good show. We ended up with, like I said, of the 46 entries, we had 23 juniors and 23 seniors, so it was very symmetrical.
Yeah.
And made it flow really nice. We have age classes, 5-year-old to 17 years old,
Yep.
and you just show against people your age to start out with, and then if you were to win your age class, you move on to show against the others in your division, 5 to 12 or 13 to 17.
The dog does not matter. The sex, the breed, the title on the dog does not matter. It's just the classes are based on the handler's age.
That's right. And in each class, the first place in each class got a nice Gold Cup trophy. Second and third place each got a ribbon, colored and notated what their placement was in their class. So it's a good deal. The show was really nice. It was right there in front of the building. We had it looking good. It was, like I said, it was moderate weather. It was 80, 81 degrees, but the sun was so bright. I think the humidity was causing it to be a little hot. Yeah. So, that was really the only thing and you'll hear during the interviews with Brooke and Hunter, they'll mention maybe the heat, and fighting their dogs a little bit on that, maybe just a little uncomfortable, but hey, that's part of being a good showmanship, and the handler is kind of working through some of those things.
Yeah, and that's why they're going to get judged on some of that, how they handle that. Their dogs being maybe not like the dog might not just stand there like it would in an air-controlled building or something, but they get judged on that. The other thing I always think is interesting about this show is you start with the younger age classes and watch how their skill levels progress as they age up. And even the 8 and 9-year-olds anymore, you'd be surprised how good handlers you'll see in some of those classes.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get there, but I think the 9-year-olds specifically, I was kind of looking at the class and when you've been to this event a few times, you're kind of looking towards the future, and I'm thinking, man, when this 9-year-old class is like 15 or 16 years old, whoever is like judging this class they're gonna have a tough decision to make. Tough. Hopefully all those gals stick around and the people that entered in. But let's kind of go through them here. We'll start out with the 5-year-olds. They were the first one in the ring, and Tucker Dunlap of North Carolina took first overall, showing a dog named Cedar Hills Chase. He was the only 5-year-old we had, but I got cracked up a little bit. He got drug around by his dog a little bit in the ring and got up there and showed it, and he got his Gold Cup trophy. But as he's walking out, he looked at his dad and he said, "I told you I'd win." Yeah. I like the confidence.
Yeah. Congratulations to Tucker. 6-year-old classes, looks like he had 2 of them.
That's
first place. Your first place winner was Jackson Cable, handling Grand Night Champion, Breaking the Bank. It's a treeing walker owned by his dad, Kevin Cable Jr., and Fred Tanis of Indiana.
Second place in the 6-year-olds was Madeline Brister. She was handling BX5 Thinking Red Rolly.
Yeah. And there's 6-year-olds, but Jackson winning that class, he's showing in a lot of youth shows already, and does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
He's one of those that several years ago, he'd come to all the shows with his mom, had that little slinky dog he'd put up there,
That's right.
Yeah.
What kind of cracks me up is
going to be a little dog, man.
A lot of people who travel to the events know his parents, Kevin and Angie. And Angie has 3 or 4 world-class show dogs that win at the World and Autumn Oaks and breed days and state championships, and he's showing his dad's hunting dog.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, worked off for him.
Whatever works best for him.
Yeah, congratulations, Jackson. Good job.
Yeah. Our 7-year-old winner was actually our Youth Spotlight Night Hunt winner, and that was Bryson Rhodes. Came all the way from West Virginia, and he showed Zach Life and Zach Bowen's Windy Ridge Breeze dog.
8-year-olds, looks like he had one Owen Rorvik hailing Grand Champion 2 PR Wabash River Marlboro Red. That's a red bone owned by his aunt Andy in North Carolina. So yeah, we've seen Marlboro Red at a lot of shows, and nice dog for Owen to show. Congratulations to Owen.
Yeah.
8-year-old class winner.
Here's the 9-year-old class I was talking about, and the winner this year was actually Kennedy King of Indiana. She was showing Grand
Philip
Champion
King's daughter.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Grand Champion 2, Confirmation Champion Drake's Windstorm. That's a tree and walker owned by Beth Jenkins and Bridget Clary. So congratulations to Kennedy.
Yeah, and she had a nice dog that she was showing there. I've seen that dog quite a bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. She had a tough class. She had to earn it. She beat out second place Paisley Warner, who was handling Howland Hill Escaped Alcatraz, and third place was Emily Olinger, handling Olinger's Buckeye Valley Ice Queen. So tough 9-year-old class there.
Yeah. Congratulations to all of them, Paisley, Kennedy, and Emily.
10-year-olds. First place in the 10-year-olds was Peyton Emery, showing Black and Tan that she owns with her mom, Andy, named Wabash River Mountain Laurel. Peyton. Well, it turned out to be a good handler, I think, just like her mom and the rest of her
I
family.
can't believe she's 10 years old already. You
I know it.
Andy was Andy. I remember when Andy and her sister were just little kids. Seems like now they've got kids showing. That's just so cool to me. And they were. Her mom shows red bones, obviously. Now here comes Peyton along showing a black and tan. So I'm not sure what that's all about. But she's won some pretty impressive little handler too.
I think Lisa Bedingfield would take credit for this.
Maybe so.
Right.
Yeah.
Second place in the 10-year-olds was Hunter Mitchell, handling Stone Nickel Dreams and Gasoline. And Aubrey Chesser was third, handling Neosho River Sid, a dog that she won a cast with that week.
Yeah. 10-year-old class right there. Congratulations. Peyton, Hunter, and Aubrey, all three of them. Congratulations. Good job.
Another tough class here in the 11-year-olds. Winning the 11-year-old division was Brooke Bally. She was handling Skyline Stay in Your Lane, a dog that Megan O'Connor and Beth Jenkins own. Brooke is out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's a dog that we see that's won quite a bit. So she had a nice dog to show, and sounds like she did a great job. Good enough to get the, here again, it's not just the dog. We talked about that. It's on an episode, a couple episodes ago about, working on your dog at home, doing your homework before you come to the Nationals, but you're going to get judged on more than just the dog, your handling skills as well. So it sounds like Brooke did an excellent job with a nice dog. Colton Rorvik, placed second in this class with Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion, Wabash River Lost Highway, a red bone owned by Andy Emery and Keith Emery and Curtis Elburn and Nikki Elburn.
Yeah, and Nathan Eberly ended up getting third place in the 11-year-olds, a really strong 11-year-old age group as well. And he was handling Abby McCorkle and Ava Newcomb's CMHC's Late Night Disaster Plot Hound.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Ava Newcomb is one that just kind of graduated from the youth events or whatever. She's aged out now, but kind of cool that some other kids are showing some of her dogs. So yeah, congratulations to the 11-year-old class, Brooke, Colton, and Nathan.
Yeah, and 12-year-olds, our last junior division. First place was Aubrey Olinger. Aubrey is out of Ohio, and she was showing her dad, Brian's Olinger's Cornerstone Scout Hound.
Second place was Leah Penny handling Big Swamp Maggie. That's a treeing walker owned by Leah Penny of North Carolina.
And then rounding out the 12-year-olds, in third place was Riley Loveland, all the way from Oklahoma, handling Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion 2, By Faith Razor Ridge Tough.
Yeah, there's those are the older kids in the junior division, 12-year-olds. Next year, those kids will be showing in the senior division.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations, Aubrey, Lee, and Riley.
One of the toughest tasks of the whole weekend is after the junior division here is rounding back up the 6, 7, 8-year-olds and trying to get them back in the ring a second time. So
they're probably out somewhere playing. And
that's right. The one, I think it was the 7-year-old winner, Bryson Rhodes. I mentioned he's from West Virginia, and Jamie Eastep. He tells me all the time that you got to watch him. He'll be running around and the shirt is off as soon as he's out of sight. And I've called them all in, and I see that Bryson's not here, so I skip him and I go all the way through the 12-year-olds, and then here comes Bryce running, no shirt on, grabs his dog and heads right in the ring. He was come straight from playing straight into the ring. So, but we brought back our 8 age class winners, and we crowned our junior division youth national champion right there after we got done with the 12-year-old class. And the winner was Brooke Bally of Tomah, Wisconsin, our 11-year-old winner. For her win, Brooke received a national championship trophy, an embroidered jacket that we're going to get to her. She got a wired dog crate with a customized cover that kind of detailed her winning this year. A $50 Cabela's gift card that was sponsored by the Kentucky Houndsman Association, and a Eukanuba dog blanket. So she got a nice little prize package there, and she was super happy. She was a blast to be around.
Yeah.
She's a promising young lady in our sport.
And junior national champion is what she'll forever have that title. Good for her.
Absolutely. And I had a chance to sit down with her there after the show was over a little bit, and she did a great interview, and I sure hope you enjoy this interview here with Brooke Bally, our junior national champion. Alrighty, everyone. This is Trevor. I'm sitting here on Saturday afternoon at the 2023 Youth Nationals, and we just concluded our bench show and named a couple national champions, and I'm lucky enough to have one here sitting with me, and that is our junior division national champion, Brooke Bally from Wisconsin. How you doing, Brooke?
Good.
Good. So, Brooke, how old are you?
11.
11 years old, and you're from Wisconsin. What part of Wisconsin are you from? Tomah, Wisconsin. Okay. And how long have you been doing the whole coonhound thing?
6 months, maybe more.
I got you. So you're kind of new to it. Started just showing recently.
Yes.
How you liking it so far?
I love it.
Yeah. So you're kind of I've seen you a lot recently. You're kind of running around with Megan O'Connor to a lot of the major youth events around and showing some dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, so today you were showing Skyline Stay in Your Lane. Is that one that you've been showing a lot here this year?
No, he stays over with Beth Jinksky and Matt. I don't remember.
Beth Jenkins and Matt Cruz?
Yes.
Maybe on the East Coast? Okay, so you're not too familiar with this dog then?
No.
I got you. So what made you show him today?
So he works a lot better for me than another one I've been showing, which is Spot. Spot is lovely. I love him, but since Lane isn't getting to show much, this is like my last chance to show him. I wanted to show him because I like him, and it was basically my last chance for a pretty long while.
I got you. Well, hey, that makes sense. He looked really good out here. It was kind of a tough day. It was pretty hot out, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, was that probably the hardest part, was standing around and waiting and then out there in the heat?
Yes, it's waiting in the heat and then having to do working with the dog. It's hard to work with the dog in this kind of heat because the dog wants to move its feet around the bench trying to find the coolest spot on the bench because the bench is really hot.
Yeah, and this show in particular is less about the dog and a lot about the sportsman of the kid, the showmanship aspect of the kid. So according to the judge, Kayla Cooper, you kept your cool, you were able to answer a lot of her questions, and you showed great sportsmanship. So those are all key things. I talked to, I guess, your mom. Is that your mom out there with Megan?
Yes.
Okay. So they all came down all the way from Wisconsin to watch your show, and they said that all the way down here they were quizzing you and working on the anatomy of the dogs and some bench show rules and stuff like that?
Yes.
Did you feel pretty confident coming in with your knowledge of all that stuff?
I was still a little scared because this is a big deal and I've only been showing for how long?
Right, yeah. Yeah, this is a big win. A lot of people go for this, and it's not very many people have won it, so it's a big deal to do it. So, and then also the sportsmanship aspect of it, that has to feel pretty good for a judge to commend you on your sportsmanship and congratulating people and helping them and all that good stuff, right?
Well, it makes people feel better about themselves. It makes them think that next year they probably have a better chance and that they keep on trying and trying to get their level up and keep their sportsmanship where they don't get mad and angry if they don't win.
Yeah, sure. Well, hey, this is a big win. Junior national champion now. You think you're kind of hooked on the Coonhounds for now?
Yeah, I don't think I'm leaving the Coonhounds for a good 20 or maybe even 50 years.
Very good. We need more like you, Brooke. This has been a fun interview. I appreciate you coming and sitting down with me. I know you're excited. We got to go get pictures taken and get all your congratulations, but I appreciate you talking to me, and congratulations again on your big win.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Brooke. Wouldn't surprise me if she won some more big shows in the future. So let's move on to our senior division, starting out with our 13-year-olds. Our winner of our 13-year-old is one that is no surprise. That was Miss Jordan Brooks of Virginia. She was handling her brother's dog, Jacob's dog, Sideshow Bobby Sue.
Yeah, congratulations, Jordan. First place there. The second place was Wyatt Rorvik handling Grand Champion 2PR Wabash River Marlboro Red, owned by his Aunt Andy Emery in North Carolina. Looks like he had to share red there with his little brother Owen, I think it was, in the junior division.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but you can do that here.
A little double duty.
Yeah.
And third place in the 13-year-olds was Veda Asher. She was handling WBC Canyon Creek Tammy that Abigail, Stephanie, and Ambriana Wire own in West Virginia. Also has the late Steve Randolph's name on this dog. So
there's a good little class, 13-year-old, and those are going to be some good handlers too. They already are. Yeah. I know Jordan, Wyatt, and I don't know Veda, I guess, but there's going to be a good age class right there. Congratulations, Jordan, Wyatt, and Veda. Good job.
14-year-olds. Mr. Aiden Mitchell ended up bringing home first place in the 14-year-olds, and he was handling Hannah Cable's dog, fellow youth's dog, named Cherry Creek Doubt Me Now, Tree and Walker.
Second place was Jacob Whitelock handling Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Rockin' W's Rock On, a blue tick owned by Angela Cable and Jackson Cable of Indiana.
And rounding out the 14-year-olds in third place was Lakin Renfro, all the way from Arkansas, handling her brother Hayden's A&R's American Littlefoot, black and tan.
Yeah, congratulations to all three of those. You know, Aiden Mitchell, he hunts in a lot of different events. I think he goes probably to as many night hunts as any youth his age right now.
Yep.
He's very into it, and it doesn't matter if it's coon hunts, showing, hunting, or what have you. He's at all the squirrel hunts. He comes to our squirrel events, and a good kid. He's got a good family. He's surrounded by good family, and he gets a hold of good dogs to hunt, and good for him. Here he is in the show winning the 14-year-old age class.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to all three of them, Aiden, Jacob, and Lakin.
First place in our 15-year-old division was Cameron Warner. He was handling a leopard hound out of West Virginia owned by Paisley Warner and Abby McCorkle named Gregory's Princess Bella.
Yeah, there you go. Second place went to Hayden Bartram with Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion, Thunderstruck Midnight Marsupial. That's an English hound owned by Kevin Minton of Missouri.
And rounding out the 15-year-olds was Jocelyn Renfro from Arkansas, handling A&R's American Lookout Lucille, a black and tan that she owns.
There you go. A leopard, a English, and a black and tan there. So congratulations to Cameron, Hayden, and Jocelyn, 15-year-old class.
Our 16-year-old first place winner was a past overall national champion. That was Hannah Cable. She was handling her hound, Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, the Midnight Gambler.
It's a dog that she's won a lot with over the years here, 16-year-old class. Second was Jacob Brooks, handling PR Wills Mountain Dusty Roads. That's an English owned by Jacob from Virginia.
I asked Jacob, how do you choose which, you got a few good dogs. How do you choose which one you show? He said, well, how it works is Jordan picks which dog she wants to show first, and then I get to choose from the leftovers. Yeah. So that's why you see Jordan showing Bobby Sue, I guess, and he's showing Dusty Rhodes, but they're both really nice dogs. We had to give Jordan a little bit of a hard time because she always gets first dibs, I guess.
Yeah.
Third place in the 16-year-olds, Mackenzie Crum, handling Water Champion, Field Champion, Hop Races, Champion, Ringer 3, Laurel Valley, Loose Cannon. Ryan McMurray from Ohio owns this dog. Yeah,
16-year-old class. And now you said that was one of the bigger classes. I don't know how many kids were in it, but I know there was a couple other good handlers in it that didn't even place in the top three. But this we talked about this a little bit here this week as kind of a class of just tough handlers here. Hannah is just, you watch Hannah show dogs, man, I don't know. She could beat a lot of adults in the handling department of handling dogs. Just her way of handling dogs, showing dogs, presenting them is just she's just so good at it.
Right.
And then you've got Jacob Brooks.
I've seen him win English days.
Oh, he's won so much. There's another good handler, and then you have Mackenzie Crum. Ashley Abby Weber was in that class as well, and I don't know who else. But that's a class of just some awesome handlers in it.
That's the next big group where you're going to see them just kind of take over the major event scene. You'll see some Autumn Oaks world champions come from this group. I'd say.
And they've got one more year of this group here, but that's a very competitive group right there, just of those individuals. And it's I don't know if that's good or bad, but good competition is really good. But this is just that's just above average right there. Those are some great handling kids right there.
You know what they say, iron sharpens iron, and I think being in a competitive age class at Youth Nationals just kind of might light a fire under you. And I'd say if Hannah won that, nothing's going to deter her from working hard. But those other people that got a little chip on their shoulder this year, next year is going to be even tougher.
Yeah. It's just because you're good and, older and good, you're also going to be up against some that are older and good, and this class is certainly one of them for sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Congratulations. I just want to say congratulations to all of those. That was a tough class, obviously. It's one that I noticed just from knowing several of them being so good, as handlers, Hannah, Jacob, and Mackenzie. Good job.
Yeah. And there wasn't much drop. I mean, there was no drop off in the 17-year-olds as well. I mean, there were 6 entries in the 17-year-old division. And when I was watching, I was thinking to myself, I'm glad Kayla's judging this and not me, because it's tough. I mean, I couldn't have chose the 3, I guess, without being out there and maybe asking some questions. But that's when you see Kayla and a judge. Maybe all the handlers, they didn't make any mistakes gating. They're stacking their dogs really well. Maybe that's whenever some of the questions she's asking you, it becomes really important as a tiebreaker, or if she's going back and forth on a dog and where you're positioning yourself and how you're interacting with your dog and things like that becomes a big deal.
And having your dog ready when your class is called to be there, ready to go, and when your dog is called, that you are there, not when they're looking for you out in the crowd or you're still sitting over here. A lot of little things are going to might be nitpicking, as they should.
Right. Absolutely. Our first place in our 17-year-old division, Hunter Shiflett. He was handling champion Rockin' W's Luke at Me, blue tick that Whitney Killo and Hunter own. Hunter's from Virginia.
Yeah. Second place was Abby Sparks handling Redbone Wabash River Lost Highway. That's confirmation champion, grand champion, owned by her aunt, Andy Emery of North Carolina, and her grandfather, Curtis, and her mom, Nikki.
And rounding out third place, Chloe Gibson. Chloe lives over in Missouri, and she was handling her own dog that she co-owns with Misty Yarrington, named C&M's Outlaw Della Rose, a black and tan that actually she won Queen of Black and Tan Days with this year. So talk about another tough division here. Yeah,
so a blue tick, a red bone, and a black and tan in that division. But yeah, Hunter Shiflett, I've seen him a couple times now, but I've heard he's just an excellent handler, and yeah, he wins the 17-year-old age class and wins the last class, before going out, aging out. So I'm sure this was a nationals for him to remember. But yeah, we kind of highlighted the 16-year-old class, but here again, like you said, these kids in the 17-year-old class are pretty doggone tough as well.
Yeah.
You and I, all of us, a lot of adults would have a hard time keeping up with some of these kids. And it's I have a little more age on than you do, but 20, 30 years ago, we didn't see kids this age that were this good.
Right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with these youth events that they have the opportunity to hone their skills and things like that. And you know what? It's just a perfect example of give them the platform to do it and watch what they can do.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing what some of these kids have done.
I chuckle a little bit. You're talking about how we would even do right now, and there's no way I'm getting a ribbon in most of these age classes. I'm going in empty.
Maybe
I'm leaving empty-handed.
Where's that 6-year-old? Where's that?
Yeah, that's right. But like you mentioned, we brought back the 5, the 13 through 17 age
tell
class
your
winners.
Dad too. Hey, I knew I had this one covered.
This one locked up.
Yeah. The 6-year-old has nothing on me. I'm just kidding. Of course, we got to give him a hard time for that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Kind of like that one time. I remember I've told you the story about Autumn Oaks on Sunday morning, and that we're getting way sideways here. But this young boy coming up there with his dad wins a placement or something. He's coming up there fist pumping, and doing that, walking up there across the stage,
right.
Just pumped up. That's so good to see.
Yeah, I love it. But like you said, we brought back the 13 through 17-year-old winners, and it was stacked. I mean, it was absolutely stacked. I think Ben Sheets from Tree Talking Media, he was there doing our pictures, and he went out in the field a few times, but he was taking pictures of the show there. And I think before we brought the dogs in, I think he said to Kayla, hey, if you could maybe give me some indication of who you're going to pick so I can get like a reaction photo.
Yeah.
And she kind of called him over there, I think, when she was doing her last look over. and was like, she was asking him, he was like, well, who are you thinking? She's like, I don't know who you think. He's like, hey, this is your job. You got to pick this. But no, Kayla probably knew, but just trying to say it's a tough class. It was a tough decision and pretty hard. And like you said, Hunter Shiflett of Ruckersville, Virginia, ended up winning the whole thing. In his interview, you're going to find out he turns 18 in August. So he was just right here at the end, and he got his senior national championship. And with it, he got national championship trophy, an embroidered jacket, wired dog crate with a customized cover, a $50 Cabela's gift card from the Kentucky Houndsman Association, and a Eukanuba dog blanket. And had a chance to talk to Hunter. I had to pry him away from everybody congratulating him. I mean, there was an uproar when they picked him. Everybody likes him. He gets along with everybody.
That's awesome.
Had to pry him away from all of his fans and his congratulations for the interview. But I sure hope you guys enjoy this interview with Hunter Shiflett, our senior division national champion. All right, guys, I'm back here with our senior division bench show national champion, Mr. Hunter Shiflett. Hunter, how you doing, bud?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Doing good. Hey, where are you from, Hunter?
Ruckersville, Virginia.
So how far did you come here?
It's right at 8 hours here.
8 hours. So I guess the word around is you were kind of slow playing everybody, telling them you weren't coming, and then you ended up sneaking up and surprising everybody.
Yes, sir.
What, you just didn't want to give them any secrets or tips, huh?
Well, me and another competitor were close friends, and she wanted me here, and I just kept worrying her, and she kept begging. I think she stayed on that phone an hour begging me to come. And she said that it was an hour of her life wasted because I was coming the whole time, but she didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about Hannah, and you two just squared off and got. Did you guys get first and second?
I think it was just.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, you both win your age class, and you were there in the overall showing against each other. Yeah, sorry about that. So let's talk a little bit about your dog, Hunter. You showed Rockin' W's Luke at me. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about. You call him Luke?
I call him Luke. Yes.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about him.
I got him from Whitney Kilo out of Cabot, Arkansas. She sent him home with me at the Winter Classic this year. I've been begging her ever since I got my first dog from Whitney, begging her to give him to me. And finally, on the way to the Winter Classic, she asked if I had room to take him home, and I did. And it was like, I was really happy that day, and then he went to win Best Male Show there, so that just kicked everything off.
That's a pretty good start, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you've had him since February, and now we're here in July. So have you guys become good buddies, and
Yes,
his show pretty good for you?
Yes, sir. He it's either in the house or in the kennel. You never know he's on the place. He's a great dog around the house. And
yeah. Well, hey, let's talk about you a little bit. How long have you been doing this, the whole Coonhound and the bench show specifically type of deal?
Showing for right at 3 years.
Okay. I know I've seen you in at a bunch of these youth shows and major events all over showing. I guess it's something that you kind of really grown to like, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We do a lot of travel.
Yeah, definitely do a lot of traveling. And I don't know, Blue Ticks, is that kind of your thing now? I've seen you show a few different breeds, but is Blue Ticks kind of the one you like?
Blue Ticks is that's where my heart is. I do have one plot, and I show him and do water races and stuff with him.
So what you're saying is the Woodwards they're out of luck with you being a plot dog man?
No, they're trying. I do have one, but the heart's with the Blue Ticks.
Yeah. So you've won a lot of big youth shows, but this one here, this is the first time you've ever won Youth Nationals.
Yes,
was it a goal of yours? Is it something you've been working towards? And what does the win mean to you?
It means a lot. We've done a lot of traveling, and this is one show I always wanted to win. And just to see everything come together, it feels good.
Absolutely. Well, hey, it's kind of a challenging day. Me and you were sitting in here in the air-conditioned truck because, man, that was a long show. It was a hot show. The Weather Channel's telling us that it's 81 degrees, but it feels like 100 out there. What do you think? Did that present some challenges for you guys out there?
It did. Just sweat running off me, and I could tell the dog was hot, and he pushed through it, and he'll do anything I ask him to do. He's out there to please me, and he did his job.
Yeah. Were you here for the seminar today?
I was, yes.
Yeah, did you kind of enjoy Kayla Cooper's seminar and stuff?
That was probably one of the best seminars we've been to. Kayla did an outstanding job on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought she did a good job, and I guess she probably talked a lot about a lot of stuff in the seminar that she probably quizzed you guys during the show, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
A lot of her questions she answered in the seminar, so As long as you
It paid to
attention.
come out, huh?
Yeah, if you paid attention, most of it should have been just repeating it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, I don't want to take up too much time. I know we got pictures to take. We got a lot of stuff to do. You got a bunch of people out here waiting to congratulate you. But I wanted to pull you aside for a second, and I want to tell you congratulations, and I hope you stay with it, and you got a lot more big wins in your future, I'm sure of it.
Thank you.
Well, how'd you think that interview with Hunter?
Hey, that was
good.
an excellent interview. Again, good for him. Congratulations, man. What a way to go out this year.
Absolutely. Went out with a bang.
Yeah, sure did. And good job on his part. And, you mentioned the picture that they took of his win picture right after they selected him. It just speaks for itself. They're a happy kid.
Absolutely. That makes it all worth it.
Happy with his dog.
That makes everything worth it.
Yep.
Before we're getting close to our conclusion here, but we got a few more things to point out. I wanted to talk about the raffles that they did. We brought some leashes, and we used to buy everything, but now the handler or the host clubs have just taken off and run with this lately. And this year was no different. I came in that first day on Thursday to set up, and there was tables just full of stuff already that had been donated from places. And they had leashes, they had collars, they had dog bowls, they had stopwatches, they had show leads, they had lights, they had tracking collars, they had some show benches, 2 show benches. So man, it was just a bunch of stuff, and every kid was able to get something over the course of the weekend, and there was some left over, to just some water bottles and stuff left over that kids could just grab on their way out. But
yeah.
We did it all on Saturday. We didn't do the Friday night hunt. We did Saturday bench show and night hunt. They had 2 different raffles. We drew out cards or tickets before the bench show and before the night hunt draw that night. So there was 2 different opportunities for kids, and they kind of separated and divvied it up. So by the way it went. But I wanted to give a shout out to those who donated items. The host club gave me this list of people who donated items for the raffle. We have B&B Kennels, T&T Feed and Seed, the Kentucky Houndsman Association, B&K Hunting Supply, Prime Time Hunting Supply, Mountain Valley Hunting Supply, Rock Creek Kennels, the McKay family, Bernard Girdley, Conkey's Outdoors, and the Carolina Coon Hunter Supply. All donated something to this raffle.
Cannot thank each one of them enough. Sure do appreciate all of their the items that they donated, for sure.
We talked a lot about Spotlight Series and the winners of that back on episode 57. Right. So if you want to know anything about that, but we did have that presentation. I thought it went really well on 3 p.m. at 3 p.m. on Saturday between the seminar and whenever we did the bench show deadline. We had a really good crowd in there. There was a lot of rounds of applause and kids coming up, and it was a great little presentation. And
it's a good place to do it too. Perfect. Yeah, I remember the very first one we had, and I remember a couple of those winners, and it was fun to do.
Yeah.
Fun one to do. So yeah, congratulations to each one of those. Episode 57, I think, is when we highlighted all those spotlight winners.
That's right. Yep. And just to give them one more recognition, Jolyn Beachy, Bryson Rhodes, Abby Weber, and Paisley Warner. Those were our 4 big Spotlight Series winners this past year. The next year's already underway. Points are already being tallied, yeah. So you better get out there and get the hunting and showing.
Yep. Cool.
And just some final thoughts. I've kept it all the way here to the end, but I got to give a huge shout out to the North Central Kentucky Coon Hunters Club there in Elizabethtown. They wanted something, they want to throw their club in their hat in the ring for some major events, and this is a great jumping off point for clubs. And we've talked about this some, and I think you probably told me this back in 2019 in my first one. This is one that's not a huge moneymaker for a club. A lot goes into it.
There's a lot of people volunteering for this. Yep.
That's right. But man, does it pay? It pays out in other ways. And I think everybody there at the club did a great job. They were all excited. They were all there. That's huge for me. After deadlines were over, Mark Brockman is who I worked most closely with for as far as being our guide and judge coordinator. He was up there with his list. As soon as we got cast drawn, we assigned them on there. We were ready to draw cast at 7:30 after a 7 o'clock deadline, and it was really quick and efficient. And what I love the most is when I'm out there calling casts, when I'm calling the judge and guide's name, they're there to get the kids. Yeah. It's not wait until they'll be here at 9:30 or something. They're there on site to take the kids. That's just some comfort. It gives some comfort to me. I know it does the kids in that case.
Just so much better organized that way too. And I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I'm going to mention a few names here about people who were there all weekend working their hind ends off, but who also I've been dealing with leading up to the event, seeing them different places and kind of, getting a feel for it and what they needed and what we needed from them. Mark Brockman, like I said, Duncan and his dad, Neil Brothers, were there working the kitchen, I think the entire time. I'm not sure that they ever left the building. Larry and Brian Strebel, mainstays in that club for many, many years. And of course, Butch Glass, who's kind of synonymous with that club.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned his name a lot. That's somebody I've worked with quite a bit over the years since I've worked up here. And Butch has always been a good guy to work with. And, he was the president of that club for a long time and just a great club.
Guides and judges. These are all basically non-hunting guides and judges. It's like you said, they're not getting paid for this. This was all volunteer based. They all took time out of their weekend to come and support the club and UKC and most importantly to support the youth. So I'm going to name out some names that were the guides and judges for the weekend. Mark Brockman, Joe Lukey, Andrew Bean, Wade Clopton, Billy Avery, Joe Blanton, Ryan Cecil, Jesse Luttrell, TJ Skaggs, Butch Glass, Bradley Huckleby, Brian Strebel, Daniel Donahue, Jonathan Maynard, Matt Ross, Danny Davis, Eddie Van Huss, James Cadigan, Fred Frost, Dalton Stearman, River Blanton, and Charlie Hauk. All appreciate you.
Yep, and they probably worked not just one night. Probably most of them worked on both nights or helped out both nights. So
absolutely,
that's what it takes. It takes a village to put on an event like this and volunteers. And like I said, it's not. Nobody's making any money here, and it's not about that at all. Nobody, the club, nobody, UKC, nobody. It's about putting on a good event for the youth. And Todd Kellum has always said this: if you've taken something from this sport, should be your responsibility. You should be accountable to give something back. One of the ways you can give back is help out at a youth event, whether it's whether you have an opportunity here, like at a major youth event, or even just your local clubs, but. It's a good way to contribute and give back to your sport for sure, and we appreciate each and every one of them.
Yeah. On a bigger picture scale, not only was the club really excited and invested in it, but you could tell that the city of Elizabethtown was. The mayor was there at 4 p.m. on Saturday, and he made a little speech before the show got started. Appreciate him being there. And also the state was invested. The Kentucky Houndsman Association was there represented by Doug Johnson and made a ton of contributions to the event. And the local DNR was there both days as well to answer any questions or to just be there, to support. And that means a lot. That means a lot to UKC. That means a lot to the people there in attendance, I believe.
Yeah, and just to have the state association that you mentioned there, Doug and them, you and I know Doug, and he's been to a lot of our events, and we certainly appreciate everything Doug does for, and their association does for Kentuckians, hunters in Kentucky, the dog world, and any events that come to the state of Kentucky and outside of that as well. But man, thank you.
Absolutely. And just some final numbers here. We talked about our entry numbers each day, which was 150 entries over the three events, 53, 53, and 46. But that was, I kind of made a list of all the different kids and where they were from and their ages and that stuff. Ended up being 90 different kids that entered into at least one of the three events. Most of them entered multiple events, or a lot of them entered all three events. 56 boys and 34 girls were there. We're talking about total. 15 states were represented, all the way from 5-year-olds through 17-year-olds. And I have just one word here to kind of summarize everything, and it's just rejuvenated. I talked about it at the beginning. You're stressed going in. I'm always stressed going into an event. I'm looking forward to it, but I know there's things that got to be done. Me and Nicole were down there, and there's a lot of work to be done. And there's not much free time. You got basically task on top of task on top of task. And when I pulled out on Sunday morning, I was just elated at how the weekend went, and just on cloud nine. Really, it was a great weekend. So I appreciate everybody tuning into this week's episode. Like I said, if you want full results, you can go to our forums. We have the results there. Go to our website at ukcdogs.com for a clean version of our results. And then all the stuff on Smug Mug. You can go look at the pictures, not only the win pictures, but the candids. There's some great candids from, all during the day, them playing outside, the show, the seminar, and then a couple of pictures from the night hunt that Ben Sheets did for us. So go check everything out, and we sure appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.